Calorie Counter is a collaborative board game designed for grade 5 to 10 children to learn about nutrients and their caloric intake. Gameplay is suitable for ages 12 and above. It can last up to 30 or 40 minutes for 4 to 6 players. The board game is fun and addresses serious issues like healthy eating, healthy living, nutrients intake in proportion to the gender, age, and lifestyle. The goal of the game is to take the food that matches the caloric intake of the eating character before the ants eat up all the food. The team loses if all the exercise station tiles or the water station tiles or the food tiles are gone before the goal is reached. The game is over when the ants attack reaches the critical level. The game ends when the common goal is reached. The minimum turn of play to end the game is 16 turns. First, lay out the grid to form calorie counter. Randomly place all the food tiles, exercise tiles, water station tiles, toilet tile, and 5 temptation tiles on the grid with the white side facing up. Shuffle the food cards and tricky cards. Place them on the left side of the grid. Place the trackers on the right side. Set the challenge level in the ants attack level with a marker, 4 being the most challenging. Take turns to toss the colored dice to choose a character. For example, the gamer can move diagonally in any direction for 1 action. The cyclist can give food to any player anywhere for 1 action. The athlete can move any player anywhere for 1 action. The reader can unflip any nearest station tile for 1 action. The writer can unflip up to 2 adjacent tiles for 1 action. The chef can take food at any adjacent flipped tile for 1 action. Next, toss the colored dice and number dice to decide on the eating character and profile. For example, purple is the chef and 5 is the matching profile. If the eating character is not in the game, toss the colored dice again. Each profile tells the height, weight, lifestyle, and recommended nutrients and the estimated daily calorie and water needs of the character. Each nutrient is represented by different colors with a matching tracker. For example, purple is for protein, orange is for carbohydrates, yellow is for fat, and blue is for water. Next, prepare the trackers. Flip to the profile of the eating character. Set the calorie numbers at 0, 0, 0, 0. Place 1 colored pawn on the matching tile and at number 1 on the grid. The youngest player starts first. The next player places the colored pawn at number 2 on the grid, and so on. On a turn, player performs the following. Take up to 3 actions. Draw 2 tricky cards and draw calorie counter cards equal to the challenge level. For example, player can move to the adjacent tile, or take a food tile, or unflip any tile, or use the special ability. On a turn, player can give food up to 2 minimum to the eating character if both pawns are on the same tile, or player can give food to the teammate with both pawns on the same tile. Giving food is not counted as an action. On a turn, the eating character may eat up to a maximum of 2 foods. The eating character keeps the food tiles for debriefing later. Eating is not counted as an action. Discard the food cards after eating. There are 3 ways to increase the water consumption. The eating character can get water from foods, temptations, or at the water station. Track the calorie intake and water consumption by flipping the numbers on the trackers. For example, if the eating character eats 1 serving of steamed fried rice, flip the numbers to 144 on the fat tracker. Do the same for protein, carbohydrates, and water trackers. If any character lands on a temptation tile, give the temptation to the eating character to consume immediately. The eating character keeps the temptation tiles for debriefing later. Add the calories, water consumption to the trackers. The eating character may, for one or more actions, perform one or more than one physical activity at the exercise station tile. The number of calories burned corresponds to the nearest weight of the profile. For example, if the eating character chooses swimming, the nearest weight will be 83 kilograms. The total calories burned will be 236 kilocalories. Players can decide how much calories are to be reduced from the different trackers. The eating character must step off the exercise station tile first and return to it. Exercise can only be performed on a normal tile and not on a flip tile. On a turn, the eating character may, for one action, drink up to 1 glass of water at the water station tile. The eating character must step off it and return to it for the next glass of water. Drinking water can only be performed on a normal tile and not on a flipped tile. On a turn, the eating character may go to the toilet tile to release excess water. Urinating is not counted as an action. The eating character cannot release more than 100 milliliters of water per turn without stepping off it during the same turn. After taking actions, player draws 2 tricky cards. Draw 1 card at a time and perform the actions accordingly. If you draw an attacks card, raise the level marker accordingly. Discard the card to the tricky cards discard pile. There are 2 types of tricky cards. When player draws a constipation card, he either misses a turn or continues to play. To continue to play, player can either use a fruit towel or any water-based food towels, or go to the water station to remove the constipation. Any teammate can help the player by giving the food towel to the player. Both pawns must be on the same towel. Playing help is not counted as an action. Discard the food towels once it is used. You may add the calorie and water consumption to the trackers if the food towel is given to the eating character to remove constipation. When 2 constipation cards are drawn at the same time, it is treated as only one. Discard both towels into the tricky card discard pile when cards are played. When the temptation card is drawn, go to the nearest temptation tile. Give the temptation tile to the eating character. Add the calories and water consumption to the trackers. Replace the missing tile with a new temptation tile. Discard the temptation card to the tricky cards discard pile when it is played. When 2 temptation cards are drawn at the same time, it is treated only as one. Discard both cards into the tricky card discard pile when cards are played. When both constipation and temptation cards are drawn at the same time, the temptation card will precede the constipation card. Discard both cards once they are played. There are 3 types of special action cards. Use the exercise station card to do physical exercise. Use water station card to remove constipation. Use taxi card to take yourself or another player to anywhere on the grid or give it to another player. For each calorie counter card drawn, find a matching food towel, flip it over with the yellow side facing upward. For example, if the matching picture is the normal towel, flip it over to the yellow side. If the matching picture is the flipped towel, remove both food card and the flipped towel from the game and place them out of game. If a pawn is on a towel that is to be flipped, lift the pawn off the towel, flip it and return it to the towel. If a pawn is on a flipped towel that is to be removed, lift the pawn off the towel, remove the flipped towel. Place the pawn back onto the grid where the flipped towel was. Pawns can move on the grid with missing towels. At the end of the game, perform a debrief with the student.